Guys like Kobe Bryant, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Tim Duncan are locks to make the Hall of Fame. They're simply waiting to be made eligible for enshrinement. However, that's not what this video is about. This is about the players who are already eligible, but still haven't received their call from the Hall. I appreciate everybody watching the video. Always make sure you leave a like on this video. Also subscribe, and don't forget to click that notifications bell as well. Kevin Johnson played 12 years in the NBA for the Cleveland Cavaliers and Phoenix Suns. He was known primarily for his explosive scoring ability and lightning quick first step and overall speed. Despite standing just 6'1" and weighing 180 pounds, KJ had no problems finishing close to the basket. Slam's Alan Paul wrote, "KJ played under control at 110 miles per hour and always kept his teammates involved, never hogging the ball, even while seemingly able to score at will." During his career, KJ made 3 All-Star teams, 5 All-NBA teams, won Most Improved Player during the 1988-89 season while averaging 18 points, 9.1 assists, 1.5 steals per game. He was an excellent mid-range shooter, which is why he shot 49% from the field and 84% from the line. If you compare similar players, KJ has more win shares through 12 seasons than Steve Nash, Russell Westbrook, Manu Ginobili, Allen Iverson, Dwayne Wade, and Chauncey Billups, all of which are borderline, enshrined, or surefire Hall of Famers once they're eligible. At 6'9", 245 pounds with massive hands and super long arms, Chris Webber was the prototypical big man of his era, the game that was even a little ahead of its time. After a scrimmage against the original Dream Team featuring Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and other legends, Dream Team member Chris Mullin said this of Webber: "Whatever year that was for him in college, he was ready to play in the NBA right then. He was the best player in the gym in a few sessions. Now, Michael might have played 36 holes that morning, but the bottom line is he was in the gym with Michael, Bird, and Magic, and at times, he was the best player out there." In 15 seasons in the NBA, Webber averaged 20.7 points, grabbed 9.8 rebounds, dished 4.2 assists, blocked 1.4 shots, and had 1.4 steals per game, while shooting 48% from the field and 30% from three-point range. He won Rookie of the Year, made 5 All-Star teams, 5 All-NBA squads, and led the league in rebounding during the 98-99 season. Webber led the almost great Sacramento Kings teams of the early 2000s to the cusp of the Western Conference Finals, but they couldn't get past the Kobe and Shaq Lakers. Comparatively, Webber has better win share numbers than James Worthy and Cliff Hagan, both of whom are Hall of Famers. When you consider he also led 2 collegiate teams to the national championship game as a freshman and sophomore, any controversy about timeouts and eligibility should be put aside to make way for Webber in the Hall. At 6'9", 240 pounds, Big Ben was an undersized center, but defensively he clearly played bigger. In fact, he was the premier defensive player in the league in the early 2000s. If you doubt it, consider he won 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards from 2001 to 2006. He led the league in rebounds twice and blocks once. And Wallace made 5 All-NBA teams, 6 All-Defensive teams, 4 All-Star squads, and he won an NBA championship. If he ever gets in, he would be the 10th player with a career scoring average lower than 10 per game to be inducted. Wallace's 5.7 points per game would be the lowest in the Hall of Fame. However, his career numbers and accomplishments are similar to Dikembe Mutombo, who is in. Both were 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, with Mutombo having better scoring and slightly better rebounding and block shot numbers, though Wallace has a ring. The 6'6", 230-pound Mark Aguirre was a scoring machine throughout his time at Westinghouse High School on Chicago's West Side. And during his 3 years at DePaul, he averaged 24.5 points per game and 7.9 rebounds, and that led to him becoming the #1 pick in the 1981 draft to the Dallas Mavericks. In his first 7 years in the NBA, Aguirre averaged fewer than 20 points per game just once for some solid Mavs teams, and as much as 29.5 points in one season. He only made 3 All-Star games, as he was known as a bit of a malcontent early in his career. But during the 1988-89 season, Aguirre was dealt to the Detroit Pistons in a controversial deal for Adrian Dantley that was said to have been orchestrated by Pistons point guard and leader Isaiah Thomas, who was a childhood friend of Aguirre's. Detroit couldn't get over the hump in the Eastern Conference playoffs with Dantley, but when Aguirre arrived, the Pistons won back-to-back titles. Aguirre averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists per game during his career. His win shares are far superior to Hall of Famer Don Nelson, and Aguirre is the only Hall of Fame eligible player who has a career scoring average of 20 points per game or higher, along with 2 championship rings, who isn't in the Hall of Fame. The 6'11", 230-pound Jack Sikma was never really known as a superstar, but he was consistently good and borderline great for most of his 14 seasons in the NBA. He was ahead of his time as a big who could stretch the floor and shoot from distance. If he played in today's game, his ability to knock down the 3 would make him something of a cross between Pau Gasol and Nikola Jokic. Sikma averaged 15.6 points, 9.8 rebounds, 3.2 assists, and 1 steal and a block per game in his career. He won an NBA title with the Seattle Supersonics in his 2nd season in the NBA. He's also the tallest listed player to ever lead the league in free throw percentage. During the 87-88 season, Sikma made 92% of his free throws. He made 7 All-Star teams in his career. In fact, Sikma is one of only 2 Hall of Fame eligible players in history to have made 7 or more All-Star teams who hasn't been inducted. The only other player, Larry Faust, doesn't have as good of all-around numbers, and he also never won a championship. As always, I talk sports and I talk gaming, and I always appreciate you watching. God bless and peace.
I'll be weak, I'm rather unique.